Hi, my name's Danny Benici from Liquid Mixers. This tutorial demonstrates how to make a dubstep bassline instrument or a breakbeat or drum and bass bassline instrument using the instrument rack and using analog and operator instruments. As you can see here, I've just got a very simple beat. I'll just press the loop button, have a listen. And on my second channel, I have some MIDI notes that I've just drawn in, some real simple MIDI notes that will be our bass line in the end. Then I'm going to go to my Live Devices menu and choose an instrument rack, just an empty instrument rack, and drag it over. These are the macro controls, if you want to open them. And this is how you open up your chain list. But we won't be using our macro controls, so we'll just turn it off like that. Next, we're going to go and grab an operator and drag it into our chain list. Notice this is just the default setting and not a preset. As you can see, by default, the operator plays a sine wave. So that's what we're going to use for our subtone. Now we're going to drag in an analog instrument. Then we're going over to the shape of the waveform and changing it to a rectangle. You can choose whatever you like at this stage and then just play it and listen to it. Okay, that doesn't sound exactly like we want it to, so we're just going to go over to the amp section, turn up the decay and sustain of that oscillator so the notes actually play a little longer. That's better, like this. Okay, now we're going to go down to our filter section, turn on our filter, and bring down our frequency to 443 or so. Bring up our resonance a little bit. I mean, again, you can tweak this however you like. We're just going to keep it there for now. Then we're going to go over to the LFO section, turn on LFO 1 and choose how we want the speed of that LFO to behave, either in hertz or by beats. If I go down to the rate section now, you can see I can change the way the rate behaves through different beat divisions. Then I go back over to my filter section. Let's choose that filter section and then go down and actually see where it says LFO 1 and turn that up. So that is now going to apply the LFO to that filter section. Let's have a listen to what that sounds like. Okay, that's starting to sound pretty cool now. So we can go back to the filter section down here and play with our band passes. So you've got 2 low passes, 2 band passes, a couple of high passes. Okay, that band pass is sounding pretty good. You can see how the analog and the operator together sound awesome. I'm now going to go down to see the rate section in the LFO. I'm going to call this up in my automation chooser up here. So you can see I've got the analog as a device chosen, and you can see the LFO synced rate is the parameter I'm going to change. Now I'm going to draw in some automation of that synced rate changing and have a listen to what that sounds like. I'm going to draw in another one here. I'm going to draw in a few now, and so you can drawing in some different rate changes. Have a listen. Now I'm going to draw in another one here. You can choose whatever sync rate you like, whatever sounds good for you, really. And it's just trial and error at this stage. I'm going to draw a few more now here towards the end. Different rates, and have a listen to what these sound like now as a whole. Just might go in and change this up a little bit, just make it sound a little bit different. It's not exactly what I want it to sound, but for the purposes of this demo, I'll just get through this quite quickly, but you'll probably get the idea of what I'm doing anyways. Okay, I'm just going to tweak this a little bit. I might actually go down to my filter section and just turn down my frequency a little bit. So this is kind of getting to the fine tuning stage. So you can see here basically that the rate changing through the automation that we've done. And you can also see it changing on the waveform over there. But basically, it's up to you guys to put in your own automation and rate changes and frequency and how much LFO you want to apply to that filter. There's no real rules. It's all personal taste at the end of the day. At this stage, I'm just going to go back to my live devices and grab an overdrive effect. I'm going to drop this on the analog synth. See, inside the rounded corners, not outside. If I drop it on the inside, it only drops it on the analog effect. If I dropped it on the outside of the rounded edges, it'll actually drop it over the whole instrument rack. Let's have a listen to what this does. I might just go to the filter section, just drop that LFO down a little so it's not so tweaky. I mean, it's up to you whether you want to turn it up or down. If you go higher, you'll see it tweaks out a bit harder. That's basically how you make your dubstep bassline instrument or breakbeat or drum and bass instrument in Ableton Live.